This is Max Griffin. You're watching Combat Insiders.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Combat Insiders. Joshua Furs here. We're here with UFC's Max Griffin. Max, my friend, what's up, buddy?
What's up, you guys? How's it going?
Hey, man, we're doing really good. So, obviously, you got a fight coming up, UFC Fight Night on the ESPN in Brazil. You're fighting Thiago Pitbull Alves, right? He's almost kind of a legend, right? Like he's
he's a legend to me. Interestingly, I mean, I've been a fan of his for ever since I started fighting. You know, he was like one of my idols. You know, he was nasty, and it's an honor to be able to fight one of these guys. To me, he's one of these like Carlos Condit type Cerrone kind of guys, and I'm pumped, dog.
Yeah, man. You know, and he was a killer back in the day. He challenged GSP for the belt, during GSP's run, man. I mean, he was a killer back in the day. I mean, it's a big fight for you. I guess maybe even before we dive into that, if we could, I would like to, if you don't mind, and I hope you don't, I'd like to talk about the Curtis Millender fight, if you don't mind.
We can talk about that.
I went back and rewatched it, okay? And matter of fact, earlier today, I saw it when it happened live, but I went back and rewatched it just so it was fresh, right? And I'm not sure that I agree with the decision, and it's not just because you're on with me right now. I think that you obviously took the first round. You had the takedown. You had the forward pressure in the fight. I think the first round was yours, hands down. Second round, okay, maybe I give to him. He had some knees. He stopped your forward progression a little bit. But I feel like the third round, you came right back. I mean, he had a flashy moment, like the last minute of the round. And, I think he had a little flurry on you. But, you were still pretty composed, and you still kept your forward pressure for most of the fight. I'm not sure that I agree with the finish of the fight. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And like I said, I'm not saying it's
so
go ahead.
To me, I mean, it was so close when, you never want to lose, right?
Yeah.
So lose, I'm, in the back, whatever. And people were saying, it was close, it was close, it was close.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I actually watched it at my boxing coach, Norm's house. I've been watching it for maybe like a week before that. And then I watched it, and that shit was close. You know what I mean? And then even the numbers and stats. But just looking back, he caught me with some good knees.
Yeah.
But he stole around. As simple as that to me. He didn't beat me. He tried to escape. He tried not to pressure. He wasn't trying to, engage. He was staying in that range, which is smart.
Right.
But it was so he stole rounds.
Yeah,
did a little bit at the end,
Yeah, like I said, he had that flashy moment at the end where he looked like he kind of, I don't want to say you weren't rocked, but it popped you a couple times, had a little flurry.
Yeah.
And that was really about it for the third round. Most of the third round, like I said, you came back strong in the third round, and you were pressing forward, you were pressing the action. I don't know, I definitely 100% I don't agree with unanimous decision. If anything, maybe a split decision, but I mean, my God, like you said, it was so close. I don't really, I don't know.
I mean, if I could have like landed one more shot or one more takedown, like that's how close the fight was, to me. And I mean, he actually went to the hospital that night with a bad concussion, hurt leg, and things. And it is what it is, It's not about being the better fighter or. It's not, because he's not a better fighter than me or whatnot. It's about, sometimes it doesn't go your way, and it's so close.
Yeah.
It's so close. One more flurry, one more of this would have won it. So it's not about the better guy. It's about coaching and just how the shit goes down,
Yeah, 1,000%, man. Like you said, it's just sometimes it's about inches. Sometimes it's literally inches, to win. I noticed that But going into the fight, your kind of pre-fight interviews going into that, and you talked about it. You were very open about it. There was a little bit of animosity between you and him, and that you weren't trying to hide it. You didn't like him. He didn't like you. Do you think it affected anything, going into that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not even in hindsight, because I didn't fight angry, But I had a different, I have a totally different mentality I have now.
Yeah.
Versus Thiago.
Yeah.
It's a total different. Like, I respect the man. It's different. So Curtis, I didn't like him. He was talking trash before I even knew him. He has that attitude on him, and
yeah.
He said after the fight, I respect you just for the fight, and it's good. Positivity, saying all this stuff. I don't know. I try to be myself no matter where I'm at. I don't put on a front for a fight, and
yeah,
you know what I mean.
So and maybe even backtrack a little further, and like I mentioned, we talked right after your Mike Perry fight, and I had remarked of how calm and how calm you were, and how you weren't letting him set up his shots, and that was really your key to victory against him in that fight. And here we are, I don't know what, almost a year later, sometime now, yeah. He's still talking about you, man. Even after he lost, bro. I don't understand. He just lost to Cowboy, with the armbar, but for some reason this dude is making videos, living in his car, and he's talking about he still brought you up. I
haven't seen him. Listen, I haven't talked to Mike until about a week before the Cowboy fight, and he blocked me. I mean, at first we were cool. I mean, he talked shit, we fought, and then we were cool. We were sending each other messages on Instagram and making jokes. I seen him at a couple fights, and we've hung out, a little bit. And I give him shit because so we fought in February. I have not a scratch on me, but a scratch, not a punch, anything. I have a little scratch on my nose. It's like a little skin flap. So it's like a little scar on my nose from his nails. So I have a joke with him, like, man, you need to cut those fingernails. So, he has long nails. Look at his videos. He needs to cut them. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I give him shit once in a while, like, hey, you need to cut those nails, man. There they go. You need to cut them. Say fuck you or whatever.
Yeah.
So this last time I said it, and it struck a nerve, man. And then, he started talking about my mom. I was like, hey, you don't be doing all that. So now we have some legitimate beef. I told him this and that. He went back and forth, and then he blocked me. So I haven't heard a word from him.
Yeah.
Heard anything he said about me. I know I posted something online, but then when he got armbarred, I was pumped. You know what I mean? He didn't deserve to win that fight against Cowboy. He just has no respect, So when he got armbarred, I was pumped, dog. And fuck him. If he's saying anything now, then that's on him. But I didn't want to go back at him. I mean, I still owe him a backhand slap. But as far as fighting him again, I wouldn't fight him until he's like number 3 or something. If he's, if he's even worth the shit,
Yeah, I just thought it was strange. It's just you don't hear him say a peep about Cowboy. I haven't heard him say a word after he lost to Cowboy, right? But it's like then he went back and he said something about you. I don't get it. I guess I don't know, man. Maybe, and this is
thorn in his side or what?
I don't.
I beat him at home. His girlfriend left him. he had a whole life crisis after that. He went to Jackson's after that. It was a life changer. I tried to humble him, but he's a clown, man.
You might be right, and this isn't. And Mike Perry, for what, I'm not trying to knock you, man. I'm just calling it like I see it. This isn't a knock on you, bro. And it's just interesting, right? Because, like I was saying, he didn't say a peep after Cerrone beat him, and I guess, when you lose something like that, he got caught in the armbar. Anybody can get caught in the armbar. Anybody can get caught in something like that. Anybody can get, maybe knocked out, get hit on the button right, and you can almost chalk it up and be like, oh, well, I got caught, right?
Yeah.
But it was different. It was different with you, right? Because you literally shut down his offense, and it was different. It wasn't like you caught him with a flash punch, and it was like you know what I mean? Like seriously, it wasn't like
Yeah, no, it was a
it was different.
methodical beatdown, you know.
Yeah, it was a total beatdown.
You can't say it's lucky.
Exactly.
So I think that's something for me that he can't just. It leaves a bad taste in his mouth, and I don't care. But if it bothers him still, then I'm gonna smack him when I see him.
It's just strange, man. I guess kind of moving on from Mike Perry.
He said he's living in his car.
Yo, he was living with. Well, he again. I'm not a rumor mill guy, man. I just see what I see. From what I understand, and I saw articles talking about, he got back with his girl, and then she kicked him out again, and he did an Instagram video or something out of his car, and he's like, yo, I'm living in my car right now.
He got his nice car though.
I don't know, but he had a bunch of shit. He had like his clothes and shit in the back of the car. I don't know. He's like, yo, I'm about to go buy a nice apartment or some shit. I don't know. But moving on, man. What got you going into MMA, man? I mean, what got you started? What developed your passion for it? Tell people who might not, maybe they don't know you. Where do you come from?
They probably don't know me. No, I started when I was 4 years old. I started doing martial arts. I did it from about 4 to 13, like 4 or 5 days a week. My dad used to take me. It was in Bok Fu. Bok Fu is a combination of Kung Fu, karate, taekwondo, judo, jiu-jitsu. It's a mix of just different styles. And kind of the idea is not everything in karate works, not everything in taekwondo works, but there's stuff that, there's a time and a place for different things. So I started doing that. Did that like I said, about 13. I went to like the world championships and got my junior black belt, my other black belt. They actually wanted me to go to the Olympics, but it's like every 4 years. So back then, I was getting about tired of going to karate. So to wait another 4 years was out of the question. So so I was like, no. Got to high school, I quit, gave it all up. Couldn't be doing that stuff in high school. And then I just started, watching it on TV, watching Tank Abbott, watching those old videos, getting those UFCs from Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or whatever.
Yeah.
And watching those and love those.
Yeah.
And all like the old Bloodsport, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Kickboxer.
Yes,
during
sir.
that time. Watching those and like, man, I could do that. And I noticed when I started watching the fights, I'd like be critiquing stuff, not just watching like a fan. Like he should have did this, or man, he needs to do that, or he needs to, I was like coaching the TV. And then I went to this reggae festival, Reggae on the River, man, in Humboldt County about 11 years ago, and with all my friends and everything, all my family, and I was like, when I get back, I'm going to fight. And they're like, what? I was like, yep. Got back. And then it started from there. I went back to the gym that I started going to when I was young. So I went to, that was like United Kung Fu Karate back in the day. But my coach, Dave Madman Marinoble, my head coach, world kickboxing champion, he was fighting back then at the gym that I was at. So as I got older, he got his own gym now, and he was retired coaching a lot of guys. He had like Scott Smith, James Irvin, Uriah Faber was over there a little bit in his early days. And I went back over there. I was 237 pounds, working at Round Table Pizza. Shout out to Round Table Pizza. I love you guys. But I was an assistant manager over there. I mean, I was there since out of high school. And I had pizza every day, so I was a little heavy. And I came back and was like, hey, I want to fight. They're like, what? Max, is that you? And I was like, yep. And then here we are, man. I started fighting back then, like smokers fights and gyms and amateur fights. started fighting, and then fight out of state, fought everywhere, all the time. Then just kept building my way, and the rest is history, man.
I follow your your Twitter and your Instagram and stuff, man. It seems like you're always grinding. You're always posting. I traveled to here to go train. I traveled to here to go train. And you don't see that. I'm not gonna say it. I mean, some of the fighters do that, but you seem really hungry and you seem very, dedicated to the craft and really wanting to better yourself and, really develop. You just have that fighter's mentality.
Yeah, man, you got to do whatever it takes. I mean, a lot of guys, I don't want to say they're comfortable, but actually a lot of them are comfortable, and they don't want to train with other people. They don't want to train with guys that are gonna out wrestle them or outbeat or outstrike them, and you'd be surprised on how many people don't want to train because ego. So I mean that's huge, man. I'm telling you, that's major these days that no one wants to ever discuss. But I do it, man. I'm with the Institute now, the UFC Institute. They sponsor me. They fly me out. I'm like one of their guinea pigs now. And I was out there last week for a few days. I took Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Holla.
Yes, sir.
That's my boy. He's fighting February 2nd with me. But I took him out there, and they're the best of the best out there. Best of the best. And while I'm out there getting my recovery, my food, my physical therapy, my S&C, I'm going to Extreme Couture over there. I was out there for the first time this last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It was dope, man. It's good to go with guys at some of the best gyms in the world and just kind of see what's good. And, a lot of good people over there, and it's good to measure, see where you're at. But yeah, a lot of guys don't want to grow with guys that are better or grow, guys with more experience. You'd be surprised. Do you
think it's a generational thing? Because we've talked to a lot of older fighters and more seasoned fighters, and I asked them this question because I find it interesting. The UFC and even like the boxing too. It's not just MMA. You find back in when I used to watch boxing back in the 90s, and like you said, I used to go to Blockbuster and pick up the UFC videos, and even back when I first started really getting into it, like in like the early mid 2000s, it was different, right? Because fighters back then, it almost seemed like fighters just wanted to fight. They took a fight, 2 weeks notice, 2 months notice, 2 days notice. They took the fight. They didn't care, the circumstances, and obviously everybody wants to get paid, so everybody wants to make sure it's the right money, and I understand that. But outside of that, it seems like there's a weird generational something happened, and everything has to be.
Something did happen.
It has to be the exact. If someone's 1 pound over, a guy goes, "Sorry, man, I can't."
Yeah,
I can't fight you.
Man. You got these guys that you're too big to spar. Like, I hit lighter than these small guys.
Yeah.
It hits harder the little guys because they don't know. They think they got to hit harder, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. But me, like, I know how to work with guys. People think, I know these knockouts. Like, if you're smaller, I'm not going to hit you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, you're going to be trying to light me up.
Right.
And, I mean, I didn't spar Roy Nelson the other day. That's a little bit different. But, I mean, in general, I'll spar with anyone. But if you're huge, 250, 60, no, I'm straight. But anything more, anything less, I'm with it. To wrestle, to grapple.
Yeah.
Whatever. You'd be surprised, man, how much you would. I'll only spar, I'm 205 or whatever. Like, 205 is my limit. I can do 203, but can't do 205. I mean, it's like I don't know, man.
It is interesting, right? It's just I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe it's a environment thing. Maybe it's just because I grew up on the blood sports and the kickboxers and just about every Van Damme movie there was. I grew up on that stuff, and it's like that. It's a shame because people. I would say that's
you can learn a lot from other weights, man.
Right. You know, I think me and you are kind of like in the same age range, so it's like that whole the 20-somethings, the ones that are 19, 18, 19, 20 and are getting into fighting now, they missed all that stuff, man. And there's something to that mentality, man. Like watching the blood sport and watching the 80s music kick in and the, you know, and all the little montage, the training sequences, you know, and the like all that stuff. There's something to it because it's not in movies. You don't get stuff like that anymore. You know, it's you know the Rockies and the you know all the stuff like that. It's you just don't see shit like that no more. And it's maybe it's just something missing. It's weird. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I could blame it on the last generation. You know, 'cause I feel like you could learn from anyone. You could learn from a girl. You could learn from a kid. You go with a kid, don't let them touch you. Don't let them touch you. You know, there's different things you could work and learn. Like little people are fast, man. Yeah. You know. 100%, but if I'm with a big guy, if I'm going with the little guy, he's gonna have to use defense. You know what I mean? So you could learn. It's like people have such a little box of what they can, how they can.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, Max, you know, where can people reach you on social media, man?
Man, you can find me on Instagram, Max Payne MMA. You know, Twitter too, but mainly Instagram, man. I'm the meme king. You want to laugh? Go to my page. I'm just trying to keep it real around here. That's all. That's
what's up, man. Well, look, this guy has a fight, Thiago Pitbull Alves, and you don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. It's going to be February 2nd. It's going to be on the ESPN. The fight nights now because that's going to be switched over. The Fox is done. They are now on ESPN. I think it's a great move for UFC. I think it's great for you guys. I think it gives you guys more exposure. I think it's awesome. Also want to throw in there too, forgot to do in the beginning, this is the MMA Gold Series. So, you know, Max Griffin's part of the MMA Gold team. So we've been doing a whole series on most of the guys and gals from that team. So it's been a real good time. I think you're like number 4 or 5 in the series so far. So we had a good time. And you mentioned Fluffy. We talked to Fluffy last week, and he's a pretty cool dude. So we had a good time with him, man. And Max Griffin, we miss you. We miss you. Max Griffin, we wish you. We miss you too, man. We wish you all the best luck, man. And you know, I think you're a good dude, man. You're good people, and it's obvious you work hard and. You know, it's you put everything you got into it, so it's very, very respectable, man. But give this guy a shout out. Go follow him. Go send him a message. I don't know. Maybe he likes long walks on the beach. I don't know. Shoot him up. And that's all we got. I'm Josh Furs, and we are Combat Insiders, man. We're out.